I think, like many Canadians, I was quite disappointed. The Attorney General's testimony and her detailed account of what happened is something that Canadians believe. And Canadians had hoped that maybe Mr. Trudeau would apologize for the way Ms. Wilson-Raybould was treated, maybe apologize for the pressure that was improperly placed on her, but we didn't see an apology. We didn't see really an admission of fault. We saw kind of a sidestep, collateral kind of comments that were made. It didn't really get to the heart of the matter. We've got two senior ministers that resigned. We've got Ms. Wilson-Raybould and Ms. Philpott, both of them pointing to serious concerns about political interference and not having trust in Mr. Trudeau and his government. This needs to be addressed. Canadians need to get to the bottom of this, and that's why we're calling for a public inquiry, to have an independent judge appointed to assess all the facts, something that's outside of the committee, which is controlled by a Liberal majority, to get to the heart of the matter, to make sure that Canadians can have confidence that their government is working in their interest, not in the interest of their well-connected, powerful friends. Well, it's first off, it's not just my opinion. Canadians believe Ms. Wilson-Raybould. And if you look at her account, it's detailed, it's precise, it's lots of details. And what she's providing is basically a lot of evidence to suggest that there's political interference. And what we're hearing from Prime Minister Trudeau and his office is not the same level of detail, not the same level of clarity, and essentially pointing out gaps in what they know. Mr. Butt's testimony had massive gaps that essentially left out the details that Ms. Wilson-Raybould spoke to. So really, there's not two versions of the story. There's Ms. Wilson-Raybould's story, which is clear, which is detailed, and we've got a Prime Minister Trudeau and his office that are not actually telling the full story and telling what's actually happened. Given the resignation of Ms. Philpott and given Ms. Wilson-Raybould's testimony, it's clear that the only way for us to get to the real heart of the matter is to have a public inquiry with the independence of a judge that's appointed that can actually look at this matter independently and assess all the evidence and get to the heart of what's going on. I think that the idea of splitting the Attorney General and the Justice Minister is an idea that has merit, but it won't actually solve the problem that we're faced with right now. The problem is that we have a government that looks like they're working in the interest of powerful insiders, people at the top. It can call the Prime Minister's office and get laws changed to get a company off of criminal responsibility. It looks like this government in Ottawa is prepared to politically interfere when it suits the whims of their well-connected friends. And it looks like they're not prepared to do what's necessary for people who are struggling with housing, the cost of medication, who are worried about the environment. And that's why we need a public inquiry to really find the truth here. Sorry, that what should happen? Oh, right. Yeah. Well, all of this is what's really troubling to Canadians. The fact that if there's a culture, and it seems like there's a culture of helping out the powerful and well-connected, and there seems to be a pattern of behavior that this Liberal government in Ottawa is showing. They backed away from a commitment to actually reduce the cost of medication after meeting with the pharmaceutical industry based on the lobbyist information. Hundreds of meetings later, now this Liberal government is not actually going to make those changes that would have reduced the cost of medication. We saw evidence that Liberal insiders were involved in things like the Paradise Papers with offshore tax havens, and then we've seen no action from Mr. Trudeau or the Liberal government to address offshore tax havens. Now we've got this current situation where there's a company that reached out directly to the Prime Minister's office to get laws changed, criminal laws changed so that they would be off the hook and off of criminal responsibility. All of this cuts to the core of what democracy should not be. It should not be a system where the powerful and the well-connected have direct inside tracks to the Prime Minister's office. It should be about delivering on the needs of Canadians. And that's not what's happening, and that's why people are worried. Oui, bien sûr.
Yes, of course.
J'étais déçu. Et
I was
plus que ça,
disappointed.
je pense que les
And more than
Canadiens,
that, I
Canadiennes ont
believe
été
Canadians
déçus
were disappointed as
les
well
remarques du Premier
to
ministre
hear the Prime
Trudeau parce
Minister's
qu'il n'a
remarks.
pas s'excuser
because he did not
de son
apologize
comportement par
for
rapport
his
au
behavior
la traitement de Madame
and for
Wilson-Raybould.
the treatment
Il
of
n'a pas
Ms.
s'excuser pour
Wilson-Raybould.
la
He did not
pression
apologize
mis sur
for
Madame
putting
Wilson-Raybould.
pressure on
Donc,
Ms.
en fait,
Wilson-Raybould.
on est
So,
toujours dans la même
in
situation.
fact, we're dealing
On
with
a
the same
besoin d'une
situation.
enquête publique
We
pour
need a
savoir la
public
vérité, parce
inquiry
qu'à ce
to
moment,
get
il me
at the
semble et
truth,
semble aux
because at this
Canadiens
point,
que ce
and
gouvernement
I'm sure
travaille
Canadians
pour les
agree,
intérêts des
that they are
plus
working
riches
for
et des élites au lieu
the
de travailler pour les
richest
intérêts de
Canadians
Monsieur
and the
Trudeau.
elite rather than working for everyday Canadians.
Je suis d'accord avec ce principe
I
en
agree
général,
with that
mais
general
cette séparation ne va
but
pas, ne
that
va pas
separation
régler le problème qui
will
existe.
not
Le
resolve
problème,
the current
c'est
problem.
on a
The problem
des
is
grandes inquiétudes
that
si ce
we
gouvernement
have
travaille pour les
major
intérêts des plus riches
concerns
au lieu de
about
travailler
the
pour
government
Madame
working
tout
for
le
the
monde.
richest
Et avec
Canadians
un
rather
comité
than everyday
dans lequel
Canadians.
on a une
And
majorité des
if there's a
députés
committee
libérales,
with a majority
on
of
n'a pas la
Liberal
confiance
MPs, we
d'avoir
are not
une vraie
confident
enquête. Donc à ce
that there
moment,
can
c'est
be
tellement
a
clair qu'on
true
a besoin d'une
investigation. And
enquête
so it's
publique
quite
pour
clear that we
savoir
need a
la
public
vérité.
inquiry in order to get at the
Oui.
truth.
Les DPA sont un élément de la problème, mais
The DPAs are
mettre en
part of
œuvre
the
de cette
problem, but
DPA, ça, c'est
implementing
le
a
grand problème
DPA
aussi,
is
le fait
the
que
major
dans
issue.
le
And
budget,
the fact that
sans avoir la
in the
consultation,
budget, without
le
any
gouvernement
consultation,
a mis cette
the
projet de
government
loi
included
dedans, un
that
omnibus
bill
bill, dans
in
un projet
an
de loi très
omnibus
grand,
bill
plus de 300 pages.
with more
Donc,
than
ça, c'est
300
un problème, le
pages.
fait que
So that's a problem.
une entreprise
And
mettre
also
la
the
pression sur le
fact
gouvernement
that a
de changer les
company
lois
could
pour
pressure the
mettre
government to
cette projet de loi
change
dans le
the
budget.
legislation and
Tout
to
ça
include
me
that bill
représente un
in
problème
the
dans
omnibus bill.
lequel les
All
plus
of
riches,
this
les élites,
is a problem that
ont
shows us that
utilisé
the
trop de
rich
pouvoir.
and the
On montre qu'ils ont
elites
trop de
have too
pouvoir
much
par
power
rapport à ce gouvernement libéral à
under
Ottawa.
this
Donc, tout
Liberal
ça montre un
government in
problème, et ça, c'est
Ottawa. So
pourquoi
all of this is
on
problematic, and
demande
that's
une
why
enquête publique.
we are asking
Peut-être
for a
on peut
public
savoir
inquiry
c'était quoi le
so that we
lobbying
can
qui a
find out
créé
what
cette
kind of
cette
lobbying
situation,
led to this
et c'était quoi
situation
la pression sur
and
Madame
what kind
Wilson-Raybould.
of
Tout ça,
pressure was exerted
sont
on
les grandes
Ms.
questions, et ça, c'est pourquoi on a
Wilson-Raybould.
besoin
These
d'une
are all
enquête
our
publique.
questions, and that's why we need a public inquiry.
I do. I believe the Prime Minister should have apologized, and that might have restored some confidence. And after the remarks that he made today, he didn't really address any of the concerns that Canadians had. The Canadians feel like Ms. Wilson-Raybould was mistreated. They felt like the pressure on her was inappropriate. Her testimony is incredibly solid and credible. Given all of what has occurred, particularly with the resignation of Ms. Philpott, we should have saw an apology today. We should have saw an admission of wrongdoing, that something had gone wrong and it should not have happened. And Mr. Trudeau should have taken responsibility instead of putting blame on other people. He didn't. He seemed to blame other people. Mr. Trudeau seemed to say that other people should have known, or he didn't know about things that other people might have known, but they didn't tell him about it. Didn't seem to me a moment of leadership. Leadership is to take responsibility when things don't go well and mistakes are made. Take responsibility and then commit to a course of action to fix it. At this point, we don't see the Prime Minister taking responsibility, so Canadians have no confidence that he'll change his course of action. In fact, Canadians will continue to believe that he'll work in the interest of those who are powerful and well-connected instead of working in the interest of Canadians. And nothing he has said so far has in any way dissuaded folks from that belief. Well, I'm not so worried about keeping the story going. I really want to get to the truth because I think Canadians deserve to know the truth. And I'm not going to stop until we actually get the real story here. We've heard from Ms. Wilson-Raybould. We know that the Liberal Committee, the majority at the Justice Committee is a Liberal majority committee. They're not going to hear from the witnesses we want to. They've already said no to recalling Ms. Wilson-Raybould. It's showing that this committee is not able to do the work that we need, and that's why we're calling for this public inquiry, and I'm going to continue pushing so that Canadians can have confidence that we know what actually happened, and we know that our government's going to work for us, because at this point, the Liberal government's showing that it's not working for people. Well, I think that change can only come when we have people coming together. And that means working at the grassroots. That means working with all levels, means working with partnerships. And I would be honored to have a movement or be a part of a project which engages more and more young people. It's something that we believe in. It's something that I've started doing. The solutions that we have are solutions that young people care about. We know that young people are really concerned about the environment and a transition to a transformation of our economy to a green economy. These are things that folks that are impacted by these changes care about deeply, and so that's something that I really want to focus in on and find ways to engage all Canadians. We need to see Canadians more engaged in politics, concerned about the solutions, and looking to a hopeful future. And right now they're seeing a lot of cynicism. I believe we can actually provide solutions to problems people are facing. Sure, no problem. I can show off my 3 languages. जी ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਫੀ ਮੰਗਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੋ ਮੈਡਮ ਵਿਲਸਨ ਰੇਬਲ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਗਲਤ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਿਆਨ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਡੀਟੇਲਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਮਝਾਇਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ਼ਰ ਪਾਇਆ ਦਬਾਅ ਪਾਇਆ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਨਾ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕੁਛ ਜਾਇਜ਼ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਐਕਸਪਲੇਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਪੇਸ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜੋ ਹੋਇਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਅਤੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਆਮ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਅਮੀਰ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਤਾਕਤਵਰ ਜੋ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਪਾਵਰਫੁਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਗਲਤ ਆ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਲਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੇ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਇਨਕੁਆਇਰੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ਼ਰ ਪਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਇੰਡੀਪੈਂਡੈਂਟ ਕੋਈ ਜੱਜ ਹੋਵੇ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਖੋਜ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੇ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਾਰ-ਵਾਰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਬੂਤ ਦਿਖਾਓ ਕਿ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਉਣਾ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਤਾਂ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਨੇ ਪਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਉੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਇਹ ਬਹਾਨਾ ਦੇ ਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੁਛ ਇਲਜ਼ਾਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਐਕਟੀਵਿਟੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬੇਕਸੂਰਵਾਰ ਹੋਣਾ ਸਿਰਫ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਹਾਲੇ ਤੱਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਸਬੂਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਖਾਇਆ ਕਿ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਨੌਕਰੀਆਂ ਖਤਰੇ 'ਚ ਹੈਗੇ ਦੂਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਕਿ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਖਤਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਫਿਕਰ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵਿਲਸਨ ਰੇਬਲ ਨੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਸ ਹਲਕੇ ਦੇ MP ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਕੁਬੈਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਚੋਣਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਸੋ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਛ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਨੌਕਰੀਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਸੀਗਾ ਚੋਣਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜੇ ਨੌਕਰੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਤਾਂ GM ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੁਛ ਕਰਨ ਜੇ ਨੌਕਰੀਆਂ ਬਚਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਸੀਰੀਅਸ ਬੈਂਕਰਪਸੀ ਚਲੇ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਪੈਨਸ਼ਨ ਜਦੋਂ ਗਈ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜੇ ਵਾਕਈ ਨੌਕਰੀਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੋਰ ਮਕਸਦ ਸੀਗੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੋਰ ਮੌਕੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ Sure. In French again or English? Okay. Thanks. Yeah, I could have responded to that in French as well. I should have pointed that out. We voted against the budget and we voted against particularly DPAs. We don't believe that that's an appropriate tool. And you've raised some of the concerns that might be in the future, that might come up because of DPAs, but it's something that we thought there was inadequate consultation when it was presented and we voted against it. Well, it could, but at the end of the day, what we want to see is that we want to have all companies in Canada follow a high standard. We want to make sure companies follow the law, that if they are charged with criminal activity, that they have their day in court, they're able to mount their defense, and if they are found responsible, that there is a sanction. That's what Canadians, I think, expect to have. And the way it should be done is that anytime someone's faced with an allegation, they're able to have discussions with the prosecution. That's appropriate. You've raised a concern that I think Canadians have is that when a company goes outside of the judicial system and starts putting political pressure to have laws changed to prevent a judicial sanction, we start to see a very troubling scenario where we are concerned about the implications on the rule of law, the implications on the independence of the judicial system. These all point to deeply problematic scenarios where people start to feel the government's not working for them, but working for the powerful and well-connected. And that's not the way things should be. Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, I feel really excited about the party. I'm honored and thankful for all the time that the MPs have given us and worked with us, but they're choosing not to run. That's, to me, not a problem. What is a problem is for the Liberal Party, who's seen resignations from the ministers directly stating that they don't have confidence in the Prime Minister, Trudeau, or the Liberal Party. That, to me, is a massive problem for the Liberal Party to address. In my case, we've got great MPs that are moving on to do other work, and I'm looking forward to new candidates that we're going to present, and I'm excited about them in the upcoming election. Well, you can never guess. You can never guess the timing of things. To me, I'm really more worried about what it says about our democracy, and that's why I'm really focusing on making sure we get to the heart of this matter and get to the truth. Canadians really should have confidence that government is working for them, and this is really eroding that trust in government, and I'm worried about that. I want people to believe that government can be a source of good in their lives, and what the Liberal Party and Mr. Trudeau is showing, that government's really out there to protect their friends. That's wrong, and that's why I care about this issue. Well, you can stay tuned. March 18th will be my first day in the House, and I'm excited about that. We'll also have a swearing in on March 17th, so I'm sure you're going to be all be invited to be there as well. Oh, I think you all can probably guess, but in case something else happens, you never know. Politics changes from week to week. We're going to make sure that whatever I ask is going to be in the interest of making sure we have a better country for Canadians, that we build a brighter future for people, and we put pressure to get the answers that people want to see answered, and also that we provide solutions to the problems people are facing. Thanks. Yeah, it's good. Do you have one more? Yeah. We'll do this as the last question then. Yeah. Well, today we want to lay out some of our values and some of our priorities. And I want people to know that for me, the environment and transforming to a green economy is a priority. Childcare is a priority, that we can build affordable houses. And we've put forward some of our plans around how we can build affordable homes, nonprofit and cooperative housing. And I want to lay out that vision. We're going to put out the details in the weeks and months to come. But today was a day about talking about our vision and some of our values. And I'm really excited that I was able to do that.